If my memory fail me not, the 10th of June, 1809, found me at about 11 o'clock in the forenoon ascending a long and gentle slope in what was called the dark corner of Lincoln. I believe it took its name from the moral darkness which reigned over the portion of the county at the time of which I am speaking. If in this point of view it was but a shade darker than the rest of the county, it was inconceivably dark. If any man can name a trick or sin which had not been committed at the time of which I am speaking, and the very focus of all the county's illumination, he must himself be the most inventive of the tricky, and the very Judas of sinners. Since that time, however, Lincoln has become a living proof that light shineth in darkness. Could I venture to mingle the solemn with the ludicrous, even for the purposes of honorable contrast, I could adduce from this county instances of the most numerous and wonderful transitions, from vice and folly to virtue and holiness, which have ever, perhaps, been witnessed since the days of the ministry. So much less it should be thought by some that what I am about to relate is characteristic of the county in which it occurred. Whatever may be said of the moral condition of the dark corner at the time just mentioned, its natural condition was anything but dark. It smiled in all the charms of spring, and spring brought a new charm from its undulating grounds, its luxuriant woodlands, its sportive streams, its vocal birds, and its blushing flowers. Wrapped with the enchantment of the season and the scenery around me, I was slowly rising the slope, when I was startled by loud, profane, and boisterous voices, which seemed to proceed from a thick covert of undergrowth about 200 yards in advance of me, and about 100 to the right of my road. "You can you?" "Yes, I can. I'm able to do it. Wake snakes and walk your chalks. Prince on fire, don't hold me, Nick Stovall. Fight's made up, and let's go at it. My soul, if I don't jump down his throat and gallop every chilling out of him before you could say quit. Now, Nick, don't hold him. Just let the wild cat come, and I'll tame him. Ned'll see me a fair fight. Won't you, Ned?" "Oh, yes, I'll see you a fair fight. Blast my old shoes if I don't." "That's sufficient. As Tom Hayes said when he saw the elephant. Now, you let him come." Thus they went on, with countless oaths interspersed, which I dare not even hint at, with much which I could not distinctly hear. In mercy's name, thought I, what band of ruffians has selected this holy season and this heavenly retreat for such pandemonian riots? I quickened my gait, and nearly come opposite to the thick grove whence the noise proceeded, when my eye caught indistinctly, and at intervals through the foliage of the dwarf oaks and hickories which intervened, glimpses of a man or men who seemed to be in a violent struggle, and I could occasionally catch those deep-drawn, emphatic oaths which men in conflict utter when they deal blows. I dismounted and hurried to the spot with all speed. I had overcome about half the space which separated from me when I saw the combatants come to the ground, and after a short struggle, I saw the uppermost one make a heavy plunge with both his thumbs, and at the same instant I heard a cry in the accent of keenest torture, "Enough! Enough! My eye's out!" I was so completely horror-struck that I stood transfixed for a moment to the spot where the cry met me. The accomplices in the hellish deed which had been perpetrated had all fled at my approach. At least I suppose so, for they were not to be seen. "Now, blast your corn-shucking soul," said the victor. A youth, I think, but I could not tell from his voice, as he rose from the ground. "Come cutting your shines about me again next time I come to the courthouse, will you? Get your eye out again if you can." At this moment he saw me for the first time. He looked excessively embarrassed and was moving off when I called him, and told, emboldened by my sacredness of my office and the iniquity of his crime, "Come back, you brute, and assist me in relieving your fellow mortal, whom you have ruined for ever." My rudeness subdued his embarrassment in an instant, and with a taunting curl of the nose he replied, "You need kick before you spurred. Ain't nobody here, nor hadn't there been nother. I was just seeing how I could have fought." So saying, he bounded to his plow, which stood in the corner of the fence about 50 yards beyond the battleground. And, well, would you believe it, gentle reader, his report was true. All that I had heard and seen was nothing more or less than a Lincoln rehearsal, in which the youth who had left me had played all the parts of the characters in a courthouse fight. I went to the ground from which he had risen, and there were the prints of his 2 thumbs, plunged up to the balls in the middle of the earth, about the distance of man's eyes apart, and the ground on which was broken up in 2 stacks had been gauged upon it.